This is the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness. We have an exclusive first look right now on Driving Sports TV. Recognizing the growing demand for more rugged and off-road ready crossovers, Subaru created the Wilderness Editions just a few years ago. These trims added more ground clearance, all-terrain tires, underbody protection, and improved geometry to Subaru's already impressive off-road capabilities. The first model to get the Wilderness treatment was the Outback XT. That was followed by a Forester Wilderness. In fact, we just wrapped up a series of videos with the 2022 Forester Wilderness, where we tackled mud, water, snow, and rocks. Oh, spoiler alert, it did pretty good. Today, Subaru is announcing the latest in the growing Wilderness family. This is the 2024 Subaru Crosstrek Wilderness. Let's take a closer look. Based on the 2024 Crosstrek, the Wilderness Edition comes standard with a 2.5-liter boxer motor that produces a peak 182 horsepower and 176 pound-feet of torque. It's connected to a continuously variable transmission with a revised 4.11 final drive, similar to the setup found on the Forester Wilderness. For those of you hoping for a dual-range gearbox and a turbocharged motor, sorry to crush your dreams, that's not happening. At least not today. Subaru's symmetrical all-wheel drive is of course standard. It's enhanced with dual X mode for snow or deep mud conditions. So the standard wheel and tire package on the Crosstrek Wilderness is this 17-inch alloy wrapped in a Yokohama Geolandar all-terrain. Now these are 3-peak rated for snow, and we've tested these in mud, snow, and dirt, and they're actually pretty good. And best of all, they're pretty quiet on the highway, so it's a nice compromise tire. If you need something more extreme, you can always go out and get a Hakkapeliitta snow tire or, a BFG KO2 if you want a more extreme dirt tire. Further, I want to note that the bolt pattern on this is now shared with other Subarus. It's now a 5x114.3, which means if you already have a Forester, you can just swap the wheels and tires onto this one, which is great. Previous generations of Crosstrek had an older 5x100 pattern. Ground clearance is increased by ½ an inch over the standard Crosstrek, up to 9.3 inches. Suspension is also exclusive to this Wilderness, with longer coil springs and off-road tuned shocks. The stroke is also increased, improving wheel travel for better contact with the trail. Also unique to this Crosstrek Wilderness, you get multiple recovery points. You just put an eyelet into this slot or into that slot. You also get 2 more recovery points in the back. And just in case you forgot, yeah, it's a Subaru. The bumpers have been redesigned to improve approach, which increases to 20 degrees, and departure, which is now 33. Breakover is 21.1. Interesting to note, the Forester Wilderness actually has a better approach angle at 23.5. Why they do that? I have no idea. Looks like the lip sticks out just a little bit more. And it also has the signature Wilderness hexagonal fog lamps. The included roof rails can handle up to 700 pounds of static load, or 176 pounds of dynamic. That means you can mount your rooftop tent and sleep in it too. Subaru's EyeSight safety system is standard, providing collision mitigation, lane departure warning, adaptive cruise control, and a lot more. Like other Wilderness trims, this has the big anti-reflective sticker on the hood. That is actually a functional piece. It's rather large on this one. I think the best angle of this new Crosstrek Wilderness is the rear 3/4. And the main reason for that is this rear bumper. It just has an extreme angle. It's just a little disappointing that the front approach angle isn't as improved as this one is, because this is great. Now, if you are interested in towing, this vehicle can now tow up to 3,500 pounds, which is way more than I would personally ever tow with a vehicle that weighs about the same.
One of the ways that we got the car to have improved off-road performance capability and reliability, and also allow it to tow 3,500 pounds, is we added a CVT oil cooler, which keeps temperatures down so you can keep doing the fun stuff for longer.
Do note, however, that Subarus do not come with standard tow hitches. You have to go with a dealer installed option, and it goes down there. In the back here, you get 20 cubic feet of cargo capacity behind the second row. These seat back protectors, yeah, they're actually optional. Fold all the seats flat for up to 54.9 cubic feet overall. And of course, everybody wants to know, can you sleep in it? You know, given the size of this vehicle, it's really not bad. It is a compact, but I kind of fit back here. I'm definitely not stretching out my legs though. You do get a mud mat back here, which is cool. And under that is a Space Saver spare. Unfortunately, they could not fit a full-size spare under the trunk. On the inside, we get mud mats on the floor, and we have the same synthetic interior material that we saw on the Crosstrek Sport last year. I happen to own one of those actually. But here what they've done is they've added additional texture to it. And I actually rather like it. It feels like a sturdier synthetic than the old model. Now down here I also get a USB-C socket and a USB-A, so we have some power options there. There are no vents in the second row, however. I do get a fold-down armrest with integrated cup holders though. Yeah, not bad. My head does fit. I am 6'1", legs torso proportionate, and this isn't bad actually. Okay, let's start this prototype up. Yeah, this is a one-off car that it's not really a production model. That's why we're not doing a full review of it yet. Let's see. Sounds like a Subaru. Now, like the standard Crosstrek, this Wilderness gets the large vertical tablet, and they've integrated quite a lot of functionality in this head unit. On top, we have a number of different options, including what X mode we are in. We can do two different types of X mode, snow dirt and deep snow mud. Now we do have a full review of the new Crosstrek with the smaller 2-liter motor, non-Wilderness, and that one we did X mode type 1. And that is really good for probably 90% of what people need. When you need a little bit more wheel braking to get that side-to-side torque transfer, that is X mode type 1. Deep snow and mud, that allows for additional wheel spin when you need more momentum to get through a challenging obstacle. So do you need that all the time? Probably not, but we will test this system out when we do a full off-road test with this vehicle later this year. Now, in this top section, we do have a number of other options. We have everything from like engine conditions, like temperatures and whatnot, to what's playing on the stereo. Down below that, we have a bunch of buttons that give you a lot of control over things like the radio, the My Subaru app, and I can also click on car info to go deeper into what's going on in the world around me. Everything from angle to current maintenance requirements, and that's kind of nice. Now this system has been honed a little bit over the first version. It is faster, it's more responsive. I still don't like these kind of pseudo button design. It's just kind of, I don't know, it kind of reminds me of a throwback design for old web interfaces, but it is functional and it works okay. And they even give you single button access now to turn off the VDC, which is one of the traction control layers. That's kind of nice. Below that, we have some quick keys that give us access to the auto start stop. So if you don't like that, every time you get in the vehicle, you can turn that on. Unfortunately, because of regulations, they can't leave that off, but it's just a quick button every time you get in. And then we have a shortcut with the vehicle button here that gives us access to a lot of our safety stuff, as well as some additional details with the car. And the safety stuff is pretty solid in this vehicle because, of course, it has the latest version of Subaru's system. It has a wider field of view than the older version of the system. It's also a little bit slimmer, so it doesn't take up so much visual space. It's overall a really good system, and it provides everything from collision mitigation to adaptive cruise control with lane centering. It also has, like, it'll do pre-braking if it sees a collision is imminent. It does lane detection, all that kind of stuff. And of course, when we go into reverse, we get a reverse camera. It's the same old reverse camera that's been on all of these Subarus, and it does have tracking lines, which is nice, and there is reverse auto braking. So if I switch into X mode deep snow and mud, and I go into drive, Let's see if we can find a camera here. Is there a front view camera? Actually, let me go look at the front to see if there is a camera. No, there is no camera. Funny thing, the Crosstrek Sport that I own has a blank to put a camera in, but it doesn't actually have a camera. This grille doesn't even have a place to put a camera. So unfortunately, no front camera in this vehicle. I have to say that actually is a little disappointing, but given the price point, I can kind of see why. Still not happy about that. Below all of these things, I do get my climate controls. And yeah, the system is way more responsive than it used to be, so this isn't super annoying. This trim level does have seat warmers, and they're not up here. They are down here. I kind of like them down here, where they're just physical toggles. That is nice. Of course, for climate control, hotter and colder, I have physical buttons up here. Now, in terms of the seat, it is a very comfortable seat. They've definitely improved the quality of the seat in these vehicles. I have power controls on the driver's side. The passenger side has manual control. But yeah, this is really nice. Now, the steering wheel is the same as on my Crosstrek Sport that I have at home. It's a nice wheel. I actually really like it. It's contoured, it has that gold contrast stitching, and it is wrapped in the same synthetic. And I also get paddle shifters in the back. The gauge cluster is Subaru's standard affair, but with the gold rings. It basically gives me all the basic information that I need in the middle. Although, interesting, this one doesn't look as fancy as the one on the Forester Wilderness. Huh, that's interesting. Taking a wider view at this interior, overall, it's actually rather nice. I mean, the materials are pretty good for this price point. We do even get a charging pad down here for a compatible device. I get USB-C, USB-A, and they still have an aux input, which is nice. It is a CVT, so I have the control for it here, and I can move over for manual control and then use the paddle shifters for stepped gearing, simulated gearing. Parking brake is now a hydraulic unit with a little switch. And then we have more room down here now for a 12 volt because they got rid of the pulley thing. So we have a 12 volt socket, and then we have 2 cup holders on a diagonal. In here, just a bin. And if you haven't noticed Wilderness Editions being pretty much everywhere in the Pacific Northwest, California, and the Northeast, that is because Subaru has managed to sell over 75,000 Wilderness trims. That's a lot. Pricing starts at $31,995 US. This will go on sale later this year, sometime around the fall. And of course, yes, we will have a complete test drive with off-road tests. So be sure to subscribe, like this video, post your comments below. Is this what you've been waiting for? Or were you expecting something a little bit more extreme? For Driving Sports TV, I'm Ryan Douthit. Thanks for watching. We'll see you again right here.